Alright, so welcome back to the channel, y'all. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's get right into the story. I recently did, or the part 1 to this story concerns a man, Mr. Long, who did 44 years behind bars for something he did not do. He was accused of robbing and then raping a white woman. Back in 1976, he was convicted and he was sentenced to 2 life sentences where he should have done a minimum of 80 years behind bars before he was released. 44 years later, it comes out that Ronnie was completely innocent of those charges. He was released from prison and he was awarded $25 million along with a public apology by all the state officials in his state because they had grossly neglected evidence that could have freed him, and in some cases they had even suppressed and hidden evidence like DNA evidence and fingerprints that could have freed him in this case, but they did not. They held on to it and they kept him in prison until he was finally exonerated after some people from a law school got on his side and decided to fight for his freedom. Now, a lot of people are asking how the hell he actually went to prison at 21 years old, came out as 60 something for raping a white woman, which he never did, and he ended up with a white woman after doing all that time in prison. And of course, some people are saying he just met this white woman and now he has a lot of money and she is in it for the money. And ninjas never learn, right? Well, that's not quite how his story goes. Let me give you the story, how the story actually goes. When the story came out, it says that a woman had gotten married to a convicted rapist who had served more than half of an 80-year sentence after becoming his prison pen pal and taking up his fight for freedom. So not only did she become his prison pen pal, which means she cared enough to be writing to him, putting money on his books, caring for him, being a listening ear, a correspondent to him. I ain't never been in prison, but I've been in the military. And I could tell you, right, that when you're away on a deployment and you get like a care package, it's like one of the best things ever, just to get a letter from home, just to get a little care package from home. So I relate it to being about the same kind of feeling. Here's the thing. Not only did she do all that while he was down, she didn't know he was going to be free. She kind of wrote to him back and forth, started catching feelings. The relationship developed, fell in love kind of thing. And she started fighting for his freedom. Ashley Long is her name because she's now taken on his last name, right? Sir, but her first name is Ashley. She's 34 years old. And she has never met husband Ronnie Long, who is 64, outside of prison walls at the time this story was written, because they did a whole story on them. She was 34. He was 64 years old when they got married. So there's a 30 years age difference. Not to mention there is a racial difference. But the pair struck up a relationship when she wrote to him after studying his case during a criminal justice degree while she was in school getting her degree. That was one of the cases that came across her table as homework, as something to do, as something to learn from. And in it, she saw his innocence. He has always maintained that he was wrongfully convicted, and Ashley has spent the last 7 years lobbying for his release from prison because she believes he is and was wrongfully convicted. Now, Ashley, she's from Durham in North Carolina. She said, I knew immediately when I saw his case and read through it that this man was innocent. This is what she said, right? She was visiting Long in October of 2013, and she says in that visit, she fell in love with his personality within weeks. The couple got wedded at the Harnett Correctional Institute in Lillington, North Carolina in August of 2014, less than a year later after they had met. Devoted Ashley even has her inmate number tattooed under her left breast and the words "Free Ronnie Long" inked in her shoulder as a tattoo. I mean, she was dedicated to getting him free. She got "Free Ronnie Long" tatted on her shoulder. She got his inmate number tatted under her left breast. I mean, damn. You know, she was out here getting into any other kind of relationship. Somebody would have been saying, like, when they see them titties, they would have been like, who the hell is Ronnie Long? She can't tell them, oh, it's a black man that's in prison that I'm trying to get free and I'm in love with him. She said, I met him when he was considered just a number to the state of North Carolina. It's a constant reminder of everything that he has been through. Long's supporters believed that his 1976 conviction for the rape of a white woman was racially motivated and that the key DNA evidence which would have, could have, should have absolved him was held back at his trial on purpose. His case is one of those cases where it makes you shake your head and go, damn. His case was heard last month by the United States Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit via online video due to coronavirus fears, which are still going on. In the appeal of 15 judges find in Long's favor, his conviction could be overturned and he would be free to leave prison after serving 44 years of the 80 years minimum he was sentenced to serve. Ashley said, legally, he's further than he has ever been. The soonest we will get the decision is in probably July. Now, mind you, if you've seen my other video talking about his release, at this point, he was not released yet. I'm just giving you a backdrop as to how they met and how they became a couple. She pointed out the DNA evidence uncovered from the house of the rape victim, who was since passed away, and it did not match Long's, adding that there was a rape kit that was also never tested and that the state have admitted that they don't even know where it is. And in another report, they said it was tested and it did not match him, so the next best thing to do was to act as if it never existed. So they made it disappear. Long's lawyer, Jamie Lowe, a supervising attorney for the Duke Law Wrongfully Convictions Clinic, shout out to them for doing tremendous work. He said, in a crime as brutal in nature as this, where the victim describes scratching so hard against the perpetrator's jacket that it resulted in her nails being bent backwards, the expectations would be that whoever committed the crime would have left something behind that would reveal their identity. The police had collected a bunch of evidence from the crime scene, and when they arrested Long at the time, after the victim's identification, they collected samples from him and they sent it all to the lab to be compared. And there was no evidence that Long had ever even been there in that area, let alone committed that crime. There was a hair that was taken from the crime scene, which came from an African American or an Asian person, is how they had put it. The only explanation for that hair is that it was from the attacker, and guess what? It did not match Ronnie Long. Everything we know about the crime points away from Mr. Long and towards someone else. Long's fate was also decided by an all-white jury after defense challenges against the jury pool were dismissed by the judge. The only evidence, now remember, defense challenges against the jury pool were dismissed by the judge. His attorneys said, hey, we're supposed to have, constitutionally it says it's your right to have a jury of your peers. Y'all have all white people up here. This is not a jury of his peers. We need to get some African Americans in here, some black people in here. The judge shot that down and said, nope, we're going with who we have. The only evidence linking Ronnie to the crime was the victim's identification of him, which was not backed up by a lineup. So the person, they went to a lineup, they put him on a lineup, the victim could not identify him. But the victim identified him some other time, I guess in pictures being shown. But when she saw him in person, she could not identify him, placed with other people. Identifications across racial groups are known to be unreliable, with white Americans much more likely to mistake one black person for another black person. I can't tell, and this happens, according to studies, more to black folks than any other race. White people are more likely to pick out one black person for another more than any other race. I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but as a black person, it's for me, it's hard for me to pick Chinese people out different from each other, right? And I would think that that's where everybody would have an issue at. And it's not racist, it's just that they do look similar. But maybe because I'm black, I don't know. But I think that black people look distinctly, significantly different from each other because there are so many different shades of black. Just the skin complexion alone, right? And then there's so many different features among black people. But hey, they didn't see it that way. So Ashley, his wife, she dropped out of college and she started a campaign for her husband's freedom. And she began working at a restaurant. She actually gave up. She was in school doing her law studies. She gave up her schooling so she could pursue full-time fighting for his freedom. She found him a pro bono attorney. This is where the question is answered. How the hell did he go to prison as a black man for raping a white woman, a crime which he never did, and yet he got out and he got awarded $25 million, and you end up with a white woman again? This is crazy. That's what a lot of people are saying. But you have to understand the backstory. See, sometimes it ain't really about color, man, but we about to talk about that in a minute. So Ashley dropped out of college to campaign for her husband's freedom, and she began working at a restaurant. She found him a pro bono attorney, which means the attorney decided to do his case for free and set up a petition for his release. She did that also, which has been signed by she worked her ass off, put it that way. She walked around and got over 10,000 signatures for her husband's petition after explaining, doing printouts of his case, giving people so they can read through it, printing it online, having people sign the petition. She collected over 10,000 signatures. Ashley added, she said that Ronnie needed someone to push his case 24/7, and I was the person with the least amount of responsibilities, so I did it. I really didn't think it would take like 7 years because looking at his case, his innocence was so obvious to me. You see, she believed in him and she believed in his innocence. He's one amazing guy. To be able to survive this long in prison when he is innocent. Ronnie is sane and he is intelligent. She's telling the world that her husband has his head on his shoulders, that prison did not break him, that he did not lose his mind, that he did not become something he was not. He is all there, and he is just amazing, his strength that he has. Because I'm telling y'all, man, the average person, just the fact that you were wrongfully convicted and you're locked in there with 80 years to do before you get out. He was 21, so he was supposed to get out at 101 years old. She hopes to bring Kim Kardashian's attention to the case. That was back when they were trying to get him out, as the reality TV star was instrumental in securing the release of prisoner Alice Marie Johnson. She was trying to get celebrities to pay attention to his case, everything. Ashley hasn't seen her husband since the beginning of March when visits were stopped due to COVID-19, but says that we do talk, and we talk multiple times a day. He can call her at any time, multiple times. She answers every time he calls. Hell, there's people out here right now who got a spouse right now who does not answer every time you call. She understood what it meant to create the secured environment for him. You understand? Ronald Cotton, who served more than 10 years of a 50-year sentence for rape until DNA evidence exonerated him, supports the campaign for Ronnie's relief. Jennifer Thompson, a woman, falsely identified Cotton as her rapist and then later became friends with him, and also lent her support to Ronnie's campaign. This woman, who wrongfully convicted another man and got him 50 years, and it took 10 years to free him, and she admitted it. She said, you know what? I think I picked out the wrong person. I'm sorry. I was angry at the time, scared, all this. And she, they took it and they released him. And those people ended up joining Ronnie's wife, Ashley, in fighting for his freedom. So if anybody is wondering how he ended up with who he ended up with, sometimes it's not about color. Sometimes it's about who is there for you, who is there to bat for you, who is there to pick you up at your lowest moment, who is there to breathe life back into you, to encourage you, to believe in you, to say, get up, come on, you got this. I'm going to fight with you. Understand? And she did that. We got to honor that woman, give her some respect, put some respect on her name without even thinking about what color she is. Yeah, there's an age difference, but they're grown adults and that's their business. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.